to my South Pole Station tour video. Before we begin to actually walk around the building and actually show you what the station looks like, I figured first I wanted to give you an overview of the station so you kind of have an idea of what's going on, you know, as we're walking around the station. So, pardon my horrible drawing ability, because believe it or not, that is not some weird animal thing. This is actually a bird's eye view of the South Pole Station. Now, there are 2 levels to the station, so it looks just like this, and there's 1 and then 2 levels. And overall, the whole thing is split into 2 different pods. So there's one half over here, and this is the B pod, and then this whole half over here is the A pod. Now, as far as orientation goes, if you were to arrive at the South Pole, the first place you would walk in is right here. There's a set of stairs, and this area, this door, is known as Destination Alpha, or DA. Now, the skiway, the runway where the airplanes land, is actually down here. So once you land, you take your bags and you walk all the way up there, and then you walk into the station for the first time. So, as you can see, the main overall layout of the station is that there is one long hallway going down here, and then 4 different wings jutting out from that area. Now, most of the important things on station, like all the recreational areas or the galley or the medical office, those are all here in the long hallway. And these other wings are generally a bit more simple. So for example, here we have A1 and A4. Those are just entirely dorms, or we call them berthing areas. In fact, my room is approximately right there, but on the 2nd floor. This one is technically B4, and there is our gym. And so both our big gym, which is like the basketball court sized area, and also our small gym, and I'll obviously show you that on the tour. Here's where it gets a little bit interesting. So this whole area, this is B1. Now B1 is special because it is our lifeboat in a way. So if all things hit the fan and we lose power, we lose our power plant and water and all those things, this is a place we can go. So it has dorms, it has a berthing area which people actually live in throughout the year. But on top of that, there's also a lounge, a small kitchen, a washer and dryer, a TV room, and in fact, its own little power plant as well. So if things really get bad, that is where we'll end up going. And I'll show you all this stuff. I'll show you the power plant, and I'll show you the TV and the lounge area and whatnot. So, but yeah, that right there is a general layout of the station. Over here, you have what's called the beer can. That's at the end of the hall. You can get into it on both the 1st and 2nd floors. And that actually takes you down below the ice and into the arches and the tunnels and where like the power plant and all that stuff is. But I'm gonna show you all of that in another tour video. But now, I'm actually gonna have a little version of this map in the corner. So it'll be right there, and there'll be a little dot kind of going around so you can see where we are in the station and, you know, relative to everything else. But yeah, let's get started. I apologize in advance. This is going to be a long video. There's a lot to see here, so buckle up and I hope you enjoy it. But let's go. We're going to go ahead and start where you would start if you were to arrive at Destination Alpha. All right, here we are. Welcome to Destination Alpha, or DA. This is, like I said, the end of the station. We're on the 1st floor right now, and this is the primary entrance that you're going to come into when you first arrive at the South Pole. So we'll actually step outside real quick. Not going to be out there for too long because obviously I'm wearing not really much of anything, but you can kind of see here. So you can kind of see here, beautiful day, but over there, that's the runway, the skiway, and that's the fuels area and all that stuff. So that's where the planes land. And then basically you walk all the way over, walk up these stairs, and come into the station. And I'm freezing. Holy crap. Oh boy. Okay, yeah, that's too cold for this. But anyways, so here is DA, and this is where you first come into the station. And there's already a few things right in this area that are of interest and that you might want to see. So first is actually the B3 lounge. So this right here is the B3 lounge. It is a very nice space with a projector, and the windows stay covered all year because obviously you want it to be nice and nice and dark when you're watching TV. And also this is where you do your orientation when you first get to the station. So you'll sit down here and they'll play like a little slideshow kind of demonstrating the rules and some of the things that you need to know, you know, while you're here at the South Pole. But here we have a coat room, and the most important thing here is the popcorn machine. Popcorn is like a huge part of life here at the South Pole. I eat more popcorn when I'm here than I do in my life ever anywhere else. It's actually pretty ridiculous and disgusting the amount of popcorn we go through, but it's great to have. And then moving on. So there was the entrance. Going this way, the first cool room that you see over here is this one, which is the music room, which is just absolutely wonderful. As you can see, I mean, it is really well stocked. I mean, we got a tuba even, and a bunch of ukuleles, and I think this is really cool. We have an electric cello, so that's pretty sweet. But yeah, so this is the music room, a nice little space to come if you are, you know, musically inclined. There are a lot of bands, especially during the summer, that come and they form down here, and then they play like concerts and whatnot, and it's a lot of fun. But, and then next, which is also quite interesting, is right here. This is the big gym. So this is where any, you know, bigger activities take place. So basketball, volleyball, badminton. We've been playing wiffle ball, which has been a lot of fun, and anything like that all happens in this space. We'll also have the occasional party here, and this is also where you can see that you can see the big screen over in the back. That's where we'll do like The Shining and The Thing and all those other traditional movies. And also on some long weekends, we'll set up the movie screen and whatnot for just general watching and whatnot. But yeah, it's quite nice down here. Also, we have up there is the weight gym, but we'll get there later. That's later. But let's continue on. So, moving down the hall. Moving on, this is quite neat. So here actually we have these display cases, which are pretty cool, but these are definitely the coolest ones. These are all the pole markers, because I think I've explained before, because the ice sheet is moving relative to the station, the South Pole moves as well. And so every year the winner over crew makes a new pole marker. And so once the new one is out, the old one gets put into these display cases. And you can actually see here, right there is the one that we designed in 2017 in my last winter. And everyone got to like sign that piece right there with an engraving gun. So my name is on there, and it's pretty neat. So this will be here forever. But as you can see, the hallway is long, and it goes way there, and there's a lot of stuff to see on the way. So let's go. All right. Here we have the UT room. Nothing particularly exciting. As you can see, just a little workshop, tools and stuff. Next up here we have the comms office. So this is where, you know, there's a server room over there and an office, and you see here we're getting ready for the summer. All these radios are getting ready. They're being made for, yeah, they've already got names and stuff on them. So plane is coming soon. It's crazy to think about. But that is the IT comms office. I'm trying to be somewhat fast in this because I know this is going to be a ridiculously long video. But we're walking down the hall. Here is one of the decks. This is one of the two smoking decks that we have. So here's one here, and then there's one upstairs as well. And that is where smokers can go. You see, I don't really want to go outside, but that's kind of what it looks like. Nice little deck. And now, next up, we actually have the emergency power plant. So I'm going to go ahead and tag myself in here real quick. But, yeah. Here it is. So this right here is the emergency power plant. Like I mentioned before, the B pod, the B1 pod there, can be isolated and basically be turned into a lifeboat if anything were to go seriously wrong. And then this is what we would use for power. So we've got a couple generators here and whatnot. So if you go through there as well, there's a little hallway that leads to the other berthing, the other dorm area. But this is the emergency power plant, and we hope to never use it because that means something has really, really gone wrong. But it's kind of neat to see. So, yeah. Onwards. All right. Next up, we have another really cool space that we are quite lucky to have, and that is. Oh, look at that. That's so beautiful. But the South Pole Craft Room. Oh. What's up? So as a general statement, McMurdo has more facilities than we do here at the South Pole, and that is simply because there are so many more people and they need more stuff and larger spaces. But I will say that one of the things that we have better here is actually the craft room. I think that our arts and crafts room is significantly nicer than the one at McMurdo. There is more space, it's bigger, which is kind of funny, and you know we have probably more supplies, but I'm not quite sure on that one. But I think overall it's a nicer craft room, and yeah, so it's a nice little perk of being at the South Pole. So if someone is crafty, they can they have access to a lot of different things that they can do down here, and it's quite nice. And they've the crew has done some really nice work in this area. Also, they built that, which is amazing. Like, it's so cool. It's just very pretty. But yeah, that is the arts and crafts room. A wonderful space if you are a crafty person. Onwards. All right. So now, as I explained before, we are crossing in from the B pod into the A pod. So now we are on the other half of the building, and of course there's more to see here. Now before we continue, I do want to share that there is a little bit of disarray currently in the hallway here coming up, and that is only because we are currently cleaning the greenhouse, and also Skua, which I'll explain in like a second, is in full swing. So there's some stuff in the hallway while certain spaces are being cleaned, like the greenhouse. So yeah, that's why. But first, we're gonna go into this side hall here, and this is Skua, which is what I was talking about. So basically, skuas are these birds that exist at McMurdo. We don't have them here because there's no wildlife at all, and these birds are scavengers. So at all the stations, the American stations, we have the Skua area, which is basically where people put things that they don't want anymore. They donate them, and then anyone can grab them. And because we are at the end of the winter, everyone's getting rid of everything. So there's a lot of random stuff here. But that is right next to the quiet reading room, which is another one of my favorite spaces on station. It is super relaxing, and look at all these different books we have. And one of my favorite things probably is that right there. I enjoy playing a little bit of piano myself, so if I ever feel like I need to hang out and do that, then I actually come here. I don't go to the music room, interestingly enough. I come here and I play some piano, and it's a really nice space. It's a really good area for social gatherings as well. People generally tend to come here to hang out if they want to do something a little smaller and a little more low-key. And yeah, you can play some music in here, but it's definitely an area for more low-key gatherings, and it's quite nice. I like to come here. Sometimes I'll come here to work and edit and I mean read even and whatnot. So yeah, it's really great. I mean, we have all kinds of books, you know. This whole area, which is quite nice, is the travel section for, you know, post-ice travels, but then you have everything to various, you know, foreign languages and science, chemistry, true stories, and then of course novels and such. So it's a really cool space. It's a really cool space, and it's named after her right there, Ruth J. Seipel. So yeah, that's the quiet reading room. All right. Now here comes the messier stuff in the hallway. As you can see, there's a couch. It's drying out. It was cleaned, but this right here, now we are in the A4 dorm, or the berthing area, and because it is still winter, there's nobody staying in these rooms yet, which means I can kind of show you what that area looks like without having to be too quiet. So basically all the different dorm areas are set up in the same way, aside from B1, but we'll get there, in that they have the main hallway going into where all the dorms are, and then they have a men's restroom and a women's restroom. So yeah, and they'll have, both of these have showers and whatnot. So when you go in, this is basically what they look like. And I mean, they look the same in all the different wings. You just have, you know, doors going down a hallway. And then if you go into one of these rooms, don't know why I'm knocking, there's no one here. But this right here, this is a standard room at the South Pole. So like I explained, there are 3 different dorm areas on station. We have A1, A4, and B1. And this is A4. The thing about A1, which is where I'm currently living, is those rooms are slightly smaller. Aside from that, there's no difference. I mean, there's slight difference in furniture just because there's more space. But you can see this this room is quite tiny compared to the room that I have. But yeah, so B1 is also the same size as this. It's smaller rooms, which, I mean, for most people is okay. Most people don't bring too much stuff down, but I definitely like having the extra space because of all, I bring a little more stuff than maybe I should. But yeah, this is basically what a room looks like. I personally prefer the inside rooms because it stays a little bit warmer. So as you can see, here are the inside rooms there, and the doors basically alternate from each side of the hallway. But yeah, this is what all the dorm areas look like. So from now on, I'm just gonna walk by them and say, that's a dorm area, and now you know what it looks like in there. But, moving on. Next up, we have the super thrilling laundry room. Yep. Not much to talk about here. You do your laundry, save water. You're only supposed to do 1 load of laundry per week. And that's that. And then one of the best spaces on station is the greenhouse, but it has it's currently being cleaned, but it's all right. You know, it's a yearly thing, do a deep clean of the area. So if you want to see more about the greenhouse, I made a video solely about the greenhouse. It'll link right up here, so you can click on that if you want to watch that instead. But the greenhouse is a really nice place on station. It's a great little area for social gatherings. There's a little sitting room and stuff, and it's a good place if you want to get some humidity and whatnot. So, and just smell some plants. But then right next to me here, a little bit further down, this is the store. And yeah, obviously it's closed right now. It is in the middle of the night. It is currently about 2:40 a.m. because I don't want to put people in my video that don't want to be in the video, so that's why I'm filming at night. But yeah, this is the store. So this is where we buy, you know, anything that we need. So we have supplies in there like toiletries, also booze and souvenirs and all kinds of stuff like that. So that's the store. During the summer, I don't exactly know how often it's open, but during the winter it's open 3 days a week. And right here we have an example of Antarctic recycling and waste management. We're very particular about splitting up everything, as you can see, even for like ferrous metal to non-ferrous metal. We're very particular on how we split everything up. I mean, batteries are split into multiple types, and yeah, it's really important to make sure that that waste is managed properly down here and everything gets taken off the continent. So it's definitely something good that we do. And then here is what is known as Destination Zulu, or DZ. So at the end of the hall where we began, that was Destination Alpha, or DA. This is DZ. Not a primary entrance or anything, but there is a set of stairs going down there and out into the Antarctic abyss. All right, back inside 'cause it's cold. Whew. All right, and on we go. So now we are approaching the end of the hallway, and here you have A1 downstairs. So these are more dorms. Like I said, they look like the other ones that we saw. The only difference is that these are going to be the A1 rooms, so they're slightly bigger than the A4 rooms that I showed you. But here is the last thing that is of significant interest on this floor, and it is a space that I absolutely love, the sauna. So in here, this is like a little sitting area, a little space where you know, get changed and whatnot, and then you go into the actual sauna. And this is, yeah, here is the sauna. It is definitely one of my favorite places on station. I haven't really been using it nearly enough here at the end of the season. It's kind of a bummer. I've been quite busy, but it's I've said this before in a different video in my 5 favorite places at the South Pole. This is the one space that I feel like I can actually like escape while I'm here at Pole, which is quite rare because, yeah, I mean, no matter what you do, it feels like you're in like a spaceship, even in the greenhouse, because it is so artificial. But here, where it's nice and dark, you turn off that white light, it's just, it's wonderful. It's truly nice, and yeah, so the sauna is a wonderful place. But that right there is the end of everything good to see here on the first floor. But there is the entire second floor to show you. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna jump back to where we were, so up to the DA, Destination Alpha side of the building, and start there on the second floor, and then work our way to this side again. And then here's the beer can, but we're gonna talk about that more at the end. But yeah, let's jump to the other end. All right, welcome to the upstairs. So we are back at the other end of the building. In fact, these stairs right here go down to, there's Destination Alpha, which is where we started this whole adventure. And yeah, now we are on the same end, but on the second floor. So the first thing I'm gonna show you is the observation deck. And I've actually shown you this many a times in many a video where I go outside to show you what it looks like. So once again, wearing a t-shirt. It's not gonna go out for too long, but give it a quick little peek. So yeah, that's it out here. It's very nice out today. It's beautiful, but obviously still very cold. So I'm gonna go back inside, but here you can see a good view of the surrounding area. There's the dark sector. All right, it's time. I can't do this. Okay, that's a lot. Okay, so, but the first thing to show you in the actual station is where we actually started this video for real, which is the large conference room. Whoa, lots of sun in here. But yeah, so there's the whiteboard that I was drawing on. But yeah, here's basically a big conference room. We do a lot of different stuff in this conference room. It's quite nice. For one, we have any type of big meetings during the winter are here. So if we need to have a safety meeting for everyone or anything along those lines, we meet here in the conference room because there's enough space for everybody. The other big thing that we do here is that there are classes here. So I've talked before about like Robert Schwartz's astronomy class, or I taught a wine class that actually just ended today. Today was the last day of the wine class. But this is the place we are. You know, we've got the nice TV back there and enough places for everyone to sit down. And so this is where we do a lot of those types of things. It's a pretty cool area. But yeah, that is the large conference room. Moving on, over here we have one of my favorite places on the entire station. The weight gym. So I actually spent a lot of time in this room during my time here at South Pole. For most of the winter I was in here 5 times a day with my buddy. We were lifting weights, and I come in and do some cardio and stuff as well. But yeah, it's a really nice space. It's quite small, so I can't imagine what it's like in the summer, but during the winter it's a great size. A lot of people can fit in here and, you know, get the exercise they need, which is really important here at altitude. Make sure you have that cardio strength, since we are at like 10,000 feet with, you know, physio altitude. But yeah, this is the weight room. It's quite nice. And down there is the big gym, which I already showed you on the first floor. So if there's anything going on there, you can, you know, be on the elliptical and be watching something like volleyball. But yeah, that's the weight room. And on we go. All right. So next up in this area, this whole kind of portion here, well, okay, first of all, I'll show you this real quick. This is the small conference room. So like the large conference room, but smaller. Yeah, I've used this room for official things like twice, but there's a morning meeting that happens here every day and stuff. So this room definitely does get used as well. But anyways, oh, also here is one of the, if not the original South Pole sign when the first station was built here, the first South Pole Station, which I believe was 1956. So this was outside for a long time, but now we obviously have a new sign. But anyways, so this whole area here is kind of like admin and offices and stuff like that. So I'll go ahead and show you, but first up in the corner here is where we have our communications. So this is where that thing just scared me. But anyway, so this is the communications room. So this is where we do everything from flight tracking. During the summer, there is a firefighter sitting here at all times, and they're, you know, monitoring things and making sure, you know, doing all the radio comms and whatnot. In addition, during the winter, this is also our incident command center. So if we have an emergency, this is where the people in charge will go, because they have all the different radios to the different channels, to the different emergency response teams, so they can coordinate whatever effort needs to be done in order to, you know, mitigate said situation. But yeah, this right here is the comms room. It's a pretty neat room, and there's a little massage chair right there, which is quite nice. But yeah, anyways, and moving on over here basically is where we have all the admin stuff. So actually there's the office of our winter site manager. Fun fact, he walks a lot. Yeah, so far this season he's walked 1,458 miles. So, and he was also our station manager in 2017. So you can see here, almost 3,000 miles. I think that's his goal, is to get to 3,000 miles before the end of the winter, which, that's a lot of walking. But yeah, like I said, here is basically just offices. Obviously, they're pretty much all unoccupied right now during the winter, but during the summer, there's someone in all of them. And now, from this area is how you get to a little room we call Kinkos. So this is basically where you can go to get any sort of supplies, you know, like hole punches and glue and tape and binder clips and all kinds of stuff like that. And you've got a printer and a copier and all that stuff over there. So this we call this little area Kinkos, which is, you know, pretty appropriate, I would say. And then Dark. And then over here we just have some more office space as well. So there you can see is a little print of the winter crew photo, which I'm gonna take home. So yeah, but yeah, that is all the admin type stuff. We do have one more office right here off the main hall, which is the HR office. So once again, during the summer there will be someone in there, but during the winter there's not. So now we came out here, that's where we went in, was right over there. But yeah, let's continue walking down the hall. So, and now on my left is arguably one of the most important rooms on the entire station, and the sole reason that we are actually here, the science lab. So of course most of the science actually happens outside, whether it be the telescopes and whatnot, but this room here is basically where all the computers are and where all the grantees, the scientists, have their stuff. So yeah, pretty important space. We'll take a look inside. All right. So here we are. Welcome to B2 Science. There's nobody in here right now, which is interesting, but basically over here in this corner we have our meteorology department, so that's where weather type stuff happens. This little fume hood is special to me particularly because it is where we do our fuel testing of the fuel samples. So we have to test the fuel every time before an airplane comes, so we need to make sure it's not contaminated with water, sediment, or anything like that. And then over here is basically all of the different work areas for the different science projects that are going on. So yeah, I don't know, like ice cubes there, South Pole telescope is here, right on the other side we got a bicep, so you know, all different cubicles for different people. And then this area here, that is all for the RAs, or the research associates. So they're the ones helping out, but also keeping other smaller projects alive that don't have full-time grantees here. Things like the Super Darn and other smaller things like the Aurora cameras and whatnot. So yeah, so this is B2 Science. The reason we're at the South Pole is to do science, so this is a pretty important room. And there's 2 doors. It's a very big room, so we're gonna go out the other side. So we went in over there. There's some stairs that go down. But now, this place we're going to next is definitely like the pulse of the social life here at the South Pole. That is the B1 Lounge. So here we are. Here is the lounge. And this is essentially where pretty much all social activity on the station lives. So particularly Saturday nights, this is a crowded room. This is where everybody hangs out. As you can see, we've got a pool table, we've got the dartboard, and chess going on over there, and of course the little sitting area. And like I was talking about before, this is B1, so this is the emergency pod that I was talking about. So as you can see here, this is actually our mini little kitchen. So underneath that white thing is actually a stove. So once again, if things were to go really, really poorly and we get stuck in here, that is where we would be making our food. So like I said before, definitely not ideal. And as you can see going through here, there are more dorms. So this is one that is slightly different actually. So right below the lounge that we just left, that's where the power plant is. So there's more dorms there and then more dorms downstairs. But because of the layout, there's not a men's and women's bathroom on both floors. There's men's up here, women's are downstairs. And then on top of that here, we have our emergency communications area. So that's where like ham radio and things like that are, which once again, hopefully we never have to use. But going back into the lounge, there is one other little side room over here that I'm going to show you, and that is the B1 TV lounge. So it's like B3 that I showed you at the very beginning, but slightly different. These couches are actually a lot more comfortable than the couches down there, But you can see there's a TV and there's actually some video games, and then a huge DVD selection. So yeah, this is definitely a good space. The sound is pretty nice here as well. So I definitely like hanging out in here. I've watched many things in this room. But yeah, this is another one of those recreational areas, and it's really nice to have it attached directly to this this primary lounge out here. But that is all for the B1 lounge. So let's move on. All right. Continuing down the long hallway. And like before, we are now going from the B pod into the A pod. So here we are now in the A pod and approaching the next thing, which is the computer lab. So there's quite a few purposes to this area. For one, it is where all the computers are. I do find it comical. We do have more computers in our computer lab than McMurdo does, which is kind of funny considering we have significantly less people. But on top of that, we have over here are all the different cubicles of the different people that different departments and such. And then of course, this large cubicle is the IT department. And yeah, here you can see my buddy Josh's desk. He's been in a few of these videos, but he's also the recreation coordinator, so you can see the calendar there with all the stuff. But yeah, this is that's the computer lab, and on we go. All right, and then we are back to A4. So this is the wing that I showed you the actual dorms in when we were downstairs. It looks the exact same up here, so we're not going to go inside, but yes, here's A4, and now that summer's about to start, these rooms are about to start filling up. But this hallway now is actually quite special. It's a really cool area, and it is because it is where all the winter over photos are. So because the summer crew is so fluid, people come in for a couple weeks at a time and such, they don't get to like take a group photo or anything like that. However, the winter crew, because you know we're here for so long and no one's coming in and out, we actually get to take a group photo. And pretty special, here is our photo, the 2019 South Pole Winter Over crew. That's me right there. Yeah, it's a pretty big deal to me. I was a huge part of taking this photo, but yeah, so here are all the different winter over photos, and it's pretty special to get to be on this wall because this will be here, you know, as long as America has a station here at the South Pole. And there's the 2017 photo, which I'm also in because I was also here in 2017. And then up here you can see is Club Med. This is our doctor's office. Cleaning supplies, things are going on. But yeah, so over here we have like the trauma bay. Over in that area is the dentist chair for the summer. And then over here is kind of like the ward area, so I guess kind of the hospitalization place. Yeah, and then there's the main doctor's office, and then up here is the PA's office and the pharmacy and whatnot. So, but yeah, this is medical, pretty cool. And because I am part of ERT4, so the medical trauma team, emergency response team, I'm in here once a week. You know, we're doing various trainings, which is pretty neat. I've gotten to learn some really cool stuff. But yeah, I'll turn off the lights. But yeah, moving on. We're getting close. We're getting close. We're almost done. We're almost done. All right. And lastly, probably one of the most important areas on the entire station, the galley. All right. So first up here is the dish pit, and it is currently unoccupied, obviously, as you can see, because it's not a mealtime and it's not night, so we don't have a steward working. So that means if you're going to eat something in the evening, you just need to do your own dishes, and that's also true for Sundays during the winter, since we don't have a steward working, or anyone in the galley actually working on Sundays. But then, next thing here you have is the coffee bar. So this is where people put coffees. This is all Skua stuff. People ordered way too much for the winter, myself included, so people put it here, and now it's, yeah, now it's Skua. But also here we have these community fridges, so if there is a meal in particular that you really enjoyed during the week, you can put it here, like wrap it up in a plate and then put it here, and then you can eat it later. And this is particularly useful in the winter because there's nobody working on Sundays in the galley, so you know, you have to eat something that's left over, and there's the leftover fridge over there, and we'll get to that in a second. But this is the community fridge, so you can, you know, put your own stuff in there. But moving on, the next really important thing is something that we don't have at McMurdo, because at McMurdo they have the soft serve thing, but here we have real ice cream. It's a pretty big deal. And it's also awesome. But I weirdly like the soft serve at McMurdo, I don't know. But yeah, here you can see the general layout of the galley. During the winter, there's significantly fewer tables. In addition, right behind me here, we actually make a bit of a lounge, so we're bringing a couple couches, and it's a good place for people to hang out. We'll have like a bar night, so we'll actually, like, people will pitch in and buy some booze, so we can kind of stand behind that bar and actually make some drinks and whatnot. So, but yeah, everything's all set up for the summer now, so it's tables on tables on tables. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, you can see also, it's crazy how different it looks in the summer compared to the winter, because in the winter, like, all of these windows are covered up and you can't see outside and everything. But yeah, but here is the kitchen, pretty good. And then here is the leftover fridge that I was talking about. So essentially, whenever there's leftovers from a meal, which there always is, then they put it in containers and put it in here. So if you want to eat it again later, then you can do that. But it's currently broken, as you can see, so it's all being put over there. But yeah, now we go through this little hallway here, and now we're pretty much at the end. Some food storage, but right in through there, that is actually where my dorm is as well. Like I said, it looks the same as all the other ones. So now we go into the beer can. But yeah. Ooh. Oh. That door is a pain. But yeah, here we are. We are now in the beer can. It is like negative 50 degrees, so I'm gonna have to make this quick. But this is where we're gonna start part 2 of the tour, which is gonna take us down under the ice into the arches, and you'll see like where the tunnels start and all that kind of stuff. But this is it, yeah. Also, this is where we put some trash and stuff, and then trash down there as well, which then gets put on this elevator that's right here. It's currently down, so you can't see it, but it gets put on that elevator, which then gets sent down to the bottom where we process all the waste. But yeah, that's the elevated station. I hope that was interesting. Hopefully this video isn't too long. I know it's gonna be long, so if you're still here, thank you, I appreciate it. But yeah, like I said, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, you know what to do. Go down below, hit the little like button, and subscribe, and hit the bell, and comment, and share with anyone that wants to see what the South Pole Station looks like. And yeah, I will see you on part 2 of this tour.